Now we are in James chapter 3 verse 11. Reading from the King James Bible, quote, "Doth a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter," unquote. Reading from the ESV, quote, "Does a spring pour forth from the same opening both fresh and salt water," unquote. Young's Literal Translation, quote, "Doth the fountain out of the same opening pour forth the sweet and the bitter," unquote. Okay, let's look at the original Greek and parse this out. Doth a fountain. Now, fountain is used only one time in the Greek, and James uses it here. Now, next, send forth. Send forth is used like 4 times in the Greek in the New Testament, but it's talking about sending forth disciples. So let's look at the definition of this particular one. And when we look at this, it says more rarely transitive, to send forth abundantly, absolutely to teem, to send forth water. Now, if we look how that is written, it was written in the present tense, so today, active voice, you as the doer, indicative mood, statement of fact. Going forward, at the same place, sweet or fresh water, and bitter or salt water. Now that ends the Greek parsing of this verse. Let's look at what John Gill had to write on it. Quote, "Doth a fountain send forth at the same place," unquote, or whole, for at divers places and at different times, as Pliny observes, it may send forth, quote, "sweet water and bitter," unquote. And it is reported there is a lake with the Troglodidae, a people in Ethiopia, which becomes thrice a day bitter, and then as often sweet. But then it does not yield sweet water and bitter at the same time. This similitude is used to show how unnatural it is that blessing and cursings should proceed out of the same mouth. Troglodidae people in Ethiopia. Looked it up on the internet. Come to find out that these people were around between the 5th and the 2nd century before Christ, and they were cave dwellers. Whether or not this lake was fresh water and bitter water, or sweet and bitter, in the same time frame, there's no report of it, so I can't verify it. So you have to remember that John Gill is reporting on something that he either knows or heard of in the 1700s, and I can't verify this. But basically, this verse is showing how unnatural it is for blessings and cursings to proceed out of the same mouth, especially a Christian. This ends James chapter 3 verse 11. May God richly bless you to pursue your pursuits in studying the Scriptures.